Hi, we're Steve and Audra. We're all about low-budget travel as we go on adventures in our Ford Transit cargo van that we're converting to a tiny home on wheels. This week's adventure gets off to a bit of a rough start.
All of a sudden, we were supposed to be an hour away. It said 2 hours. We, for the life of us, cannot figure out why it's saying that.
To make matters even worse, that's our current fuel situation.
And as soon as we started driving, we started hearing this. I didn't really think anything of it, but Steve realized it didn't sound right, and it's actually our Delta power unit. So, let's hope that at the beginning of our trip, that we are not having a problem with that.
I think what I was doing was completing like a circuit. Wow, that's a lot of watts.
Have we fried our power unit or our fridge? Stay tuned to find out. We're working on making our way to New Orleans with some stops along the way.
Nice spot, huh?
Follow us as we spend time in Florida's Panhandle and make a quick stop in Mobile, Alabama. We'll share the free things we find as well as how we do van life along the way. We hope you'll join us for the adventure.
Hey guys, we are on another adventure. Today we're heading to the Orlando area, but after that we're going to drive further. We're going to go with the Panhandle since we've never been there before. And our final destination is New Orleans. We've never been there either, so we hope you'll join us and enjoy the adventure. So we're pretty excited because on this trip our van is starting to feel just a little bit more like home. We've got the floor-to-ceiling closet now, we've got upper cabinets in the kitchen area, and what a difference that makes. So it's pretty exciting.
Going to this trip, getting out and about, get a break from the regular 9 to 5, see how the van handles things.
So it's a little different for the cat this time. Her normal hiding spot is no longer there because we moved the chair and done some other things. So we tried to make her some cubby holes. So far, she hasn't liked any of them. So currently, she's been hanging out behind my chair, kind of behind the curtain. I put a towel down there. So whatever works. We'll see. We're trying to figure it out as we go. The tiny annoying thing is right now we have a creaky noise. In the past we've had some different noises from time to time, but we've been able to fix them, or they've changed as we kept building. But there seems to be some kind of creaking coming from our floor-to-ceiling closet. So we're going to have to explore that a little bit. Not sure if you can hear that or not, but we're going to have to explore that and figure out what's going on. Anything else you'd like to say?
No.
Anything else I should tell them?
No.
So come along for the ride. First stop, we're going to go see my family. And then after that, more adventure.
Here's to van life.
We've been on the road for a couple hours now. We are heading just north of Orlando to see some family today. So typically, you probably know we like to keep our costs down. So that means we avoid the turnpike or any toll roads. But we are making an exception. We looked at the map and we're trying to be to our family's place at a certain time today for lunch. And not taking the turnpike would have meant about 35-minute to 40-minute more of a trip and about 20 miles more. So we decided we'd bite the bullet and do the turnpike. We have not done the turnpike in a long time. And we were pretty surprised once we got on here and we started doing the calculations. It looks like we're going to be paying about a little over $16 for this trip on the segment of the turnpike between our place and the Orlando area. That seems a little bit much to us, but we're doing it anyway. We're already on the turnpike, so it's too late. But for sure in the future, we'll be avoiding it as much as possible. We like to just kind of explore and take our time anyway. Keep our costs down, so usually no turnpike, but today, here we are.
Good morning. $12.90.
It's crazy.
Like, how far did we go?
It was about 2 hours.
So maybe 100 miles or so.
Rip off.
Thanks. Can I have a receipt, please?
Then we still have another toll to pay once we get off finally.
Thank you.
We're not really sure why they have a toll right here in the middle of the turnpike. Usually you pay when you exit.
I know that I'm frugal, but that doesn't sit well with me. That's expensive.
Yeah, that's
per mile.
Stupid expensive. Yeah, so anyway, there is just that plaza kind of in the middle of things, and now we're just back on the turnpike again, and we have several miles to go before we get off finally, so then we have another plaza then. Our minds are a little blown at the moment. We got off we went through that toll plaza that we showed you guys, and we were driving for a little bit. Still, it looked like we were on the turnpike. And then Steve said, oh, it looks like all these exits aren't tolls, and we were expecting from the instructions the directions that we were going to have another toll, and we were going to be on the turnpike until really close to our destination where the exit number was in the directions. And then we turned our GPS back on. It had been off just to save battery life since it was a straight shot. And all of a sudden, we were supposed to be an hour away. It said 2 hours. We, for the life of us, cannot figure out why it's saying that. It told us to get off. We're in Orlando now. It told us to get off, so we did. Always something to keep it interesting. So now we got to figure out. Hopefully, our GPS has just gone bonkers and will readjust itself.
Half a mile. Take exit 82 and for Florida 408 toward East West Expressway.
Here's the crazy thing. I checked our settings in the phone. It was not set to avoid tolls.
Take exit 82A.
It was not set to avoid tolls, but somehow it was avoiding tolls anyway. It had
half a mile, keep left at the fork to continue toward Florida 408
It was
West.
trying to reroute us on other routes and say it was going to be 2 hours. So now I turned on avoid tolls, turned it back off, and now it recalculates and it's having us go the rest of the way on the turnpike. So we've now lost a half an hour, which is funny because
keep left at the fork.
That's how much we would have saved to begin with. I don't know how, from the beginning, if we were avoiding tolls, how we were only saving a half an hour, but then just now turning it off, since it was off, we would have been an hour behind. But anyway, we're back on track, but we lost a half an hour, and we spent more money. So in the future, we're just not doing tolls. Well, so much for the turnpike. I think we're striking out today. Not only did we have the stress of trying to figure out what in the world was going on back in Orlando, but here we are, slowed down in traffic. I guess we've missed lunch with our family today.
To make matters even worse, that's our current fuel situation.
It's kind of amazing to see what causes traffic slowdowns. Like, pretty much nothing. Everybody's got to stop and see what's going on. A police car and someone off to the side of the road, and all this traffic is slowed down. Talk about rubbernecking for no reason.
Well, we finally made it to the gas station, according to this. 8 miles to spare. Let's hope we don't have to get in that situation again. That was a bit nerve-wracking.
Finally off the turnpike, and here's your typical Florida for you. Your Florida oranges and lemons and shells. Oh my gosh, that's funny. I thought these were actually real, but they're bowls just to make it look like oranges and lemons. Here's some shells. And we got the pecans. And your oranges and grapefruits. I thought those were real oranges and lemons at first. They were like bowls. We're in a little community near the Villages. And we're gonna be here for a couple days. guess that's where all the cars are. Oh, there's my dad.
Especially with my dad's ongoing battle with cancer, we were looking forward to having some time with him and some of the rest of our family. We enjoyed some good food, played games, laughed, cried, and tried to make the most of our time together.
All right, we're getting back on the road again. It's like 11:30 in the morning, I think. We are leaving Central Florida and heading to the Panhandle. Our process is we gotta take our windshield cover out. Bungee cord is on the fridge. Curtains are rolled up. Kitty's ready to go, I think. Right, great, you ready to go? We turn that max air fan off, close the T-vent. Time to hit the road. And then I do my Dukes of Hazzard landing in the front seat. Whoosh. We were ready to go. So we just got started, and as soon as we started driving, we started hearing this. I didn't really think anything of it, but Steve realized it didn't sound right, and it's actually our Delta power unit. So let's hope that at the beginning of our trip that we are not having a problem with that it's not going to work for our trip. We already just went through fixing the max air.
I had this plugged in.
Oh, we were charging.
I think what I was doing was completing like a circuit.
Right, because you last night when we were plugged into shore power, you plugged the Delta into our outlet, which was being powered by the shore power to charge the Delta.
So then, yeah.
So then you didn't.
Turned on the inverter,
right,
which started to push out power, which was then circling right back through.
So that wouldn't, would that have hurt anything?
I hope not. It seems to be running.
Okay, so then you just need to turn the inverter back on now.
Wow, that's a lot of watts.
Oh, that's weird. 384 output. Did we do something by having it, how we just had it configured? That it kind of blew it? Oh, there it goes. What was that? Oh, did the fridge just kick off completely? Oh, the fridge is on. What was that clicking noise? Huh. So the fridge, the compressor must have kicked off or whatever that is. So the fridge is working at least. It's funny that there's no output at least for the light being on. Did you diagnose the problem? Should we plug anything else in to make sure the inverter is still working properly? I mean, but it has to be for the fridge light to be on, right?
Right, trying to think it through. Got an inverter on, got plugged in to the power strip, which is feeding the outlet and the refrigerator.
Do you want to plug something into this outlet just to double? I mean, I don't know what that.
So essentially, this thing was trying to
charge itself. So we are right now running the fridge with the Delta. We're trying, and then our plan is when we get there to take some ice from the freezer, put it in the fridge, and just kind of let it act as a cooler for a while, and then a while later hook it back up to the Delta, so we don't draw too much from the Delta. So back on the road we go. We're heading to Destin, Florida. Okay, so we've been on the road maybe 5-10 minutes and we heard the Delta beep, so I came back here to check it out, and I see the little temperature icon. It appears that the device is still running, and I believe it says exclamation and high temperature icons flash together. Power supply can be resumed after battery is cooled down. So I'm not sure why it's overheating, but oh, it's already flipped off now. So now we've got input again. So with this happening, I realized the inverter went off. So I'm going to turn it back on, and hopefully that's not going to cause it to overheat again. Whoa. So the output's at like 300 and something right now. That's crazy. We've never seen it that high. It's usually like 60 or something. So we've decided to use the fridge as a cooler again. We've unplugged it from the Delta just in case we've ruined the fridge or done any damage or harm on the Delta or the fridge, right?
I think best case scenario with the readout on the Delta drawing over 300 watts, that's way too high for that refrigerator, and that's the only thing we have running on it. So I fear we may have done something to the refrigerator's compressor or something.
Or the Delta.
Or worst case scenario, we've hurt the Delta, which it seems to be running correctly. Like everything that is plugged into the Delta 12 volt wise, our lights,
right,
fans, everything, that seems to still be working fine. It
right.
seems to be running fine now. The display is
but the question
as it should be.
If the inverter's okay, I think. Right? So we can test that when we get there. We can try to plug our laptops in or something and see how they run, because we know it's kind of normal for that too. So back on the road again, we'll find out what's happened. See a truck? Huh? You see a big truck? Oh. She loves her big trucks. She and her brother both have.
It's nice when Gray Gray gets comfortable, and always fun to watch her watching the big trucks.
Wow, that's a big truck, huh? Right, blinky, blinky, big truck, turn right. Apparently we must be getting closer to the beach, because we're now by a nice large body of water.
We decided to make our first stop in South Walton County at Blue Mountain Beach. We found a free parking spot a block from the beach and walked out to check it out.
This white, fluffy, soft sand. This is so different because all the houses are up so high. Look over here, they're all up above. That's kind of cool. Different kind of houses too. It'll be sunset soon. That's the nice thing about being on the Gulf side. You get the sunset. A little more of a workout at this beach. Time to get back on the road and explore a little more.
We drove west on 30A and kept close to the coast as much as possible until we found Miramar Beach, a great area along scenic Gulf Drive, with free parking right along the beach.
It's nice that there's no parking fees here. That is definitely a plus. Nice spot, huh? Our little van. So this is super fun. We get to use our van with all of our new improvements. We've got our upper cabinets, and because we don't have the cabinet doors yet, Steve put these little things in just to make sure stuff doesn't fall out while we're driving. And we've got our closet, so we have all this extra space. And ready? Lights.
Starting to look like a real home on wheels, huh?
So our next thing will be to build out the cabinet and add the sink, but just for this trip, Steve did this temporary countertop.
We had our dinner next to the beach, enjoying the sounds of the ocean and families on spring break. Then we got on the road to head to our spot for the night, the Cracker Barrel in Destin.
So we are currently at the westernmost point in Destin. I think it's Noriega Point or something like that. I'll have to double check. It's where the bay comes and meets the barrier island. We're not thrilled with this area because you have to pay to park, so we're trying to decide if we want to stay here. It's only $5 for 5 hours though, so that's not bad. We might do this and then go back to where we were last night where it was free. It's a really nice morning with the weather. Comfortable, beautiful. We decided not to stay at the other beach this morning, mainly because there wasn't really a great view from the parking area, and if you were going to pay to park there, it was $5 for 5 hours, which is $1 an hour, but only if you stay for 5 hours. We chose to come back to where we had been last night. It's Miramar Beach, and you can't beat this view. I don't think there's anywhere else right around here where you can actually park up along the beach and have this view. It's free parking and nice that you're parallel to the beach. So this morning we went for a walk. Well, we had some breakfast, went for a walk, and now we're getting some work done.
I had some work to get done for our clients, and Steve needed to get our weekly video ready to post. We enjoyed some lunch and then powered up our Delta a bit with our solar panel. The good news is that our power unit and fridge seem to be working okay, despite the earlier mistake we made. For this trip, though, we plan to keep using the fridge as a cooler with ice for the majority of the time, instead of drawing down the power on the Delta unit.
We found a park for dinner.
We pulled into Legion Park on the bay, just a short distance away from the beach. As usual, I got out the camp stove to make dinner.
How about stop there, and hopefully that's enough. We were just over at the beach, and we decided it was time for dinner. We checked the weather. It's starting to get cloudy. We checked the weather. It looks like there's a big storm going to be coming through, so we're hoping to get our dinner done in time before that hits. I guess we'll see. Dinner's looking pretty good. It smells good too. It's spinach ravioli with pesto sauce and sauteed asparagus. That's what's for dinner.
Eating good on the road.
We washed up the dishes and started packing up just as it started to storm.
Okay, ready for our next stop, wherever that's gonna be.
We ended up going back to the Destin Cracker Barrel again for the night. In the morning, we decided to replenish our water supply, and then we got back on the road.
Good morning, guys. We are starting our day. We are on the road, and it's an adventure day. Yesterday was more of a work day. Today we are on the road heading to New Orleans with this stop in Mobile, Alabama. It'll be fun because we've never been to Alabama or Louisiana. It's a little bit colder and windier today. Hopefully it'll kind of calm down a little bit by the time we get to our destination. So this area is really neat. I had read about there being a lot of dunes. Check out how high those dunes are over there.
Can you guys feel how windy it is out there? Getting tossed around like a ship at sea.
There's more of those cool dunes. Look at all the dunes. We think this will be fun because we've never been to Alabama or Louisiana, so it's all new to us. And it should be a fun day exploring. We usually do a lot of prep work. I do a lot of research before we go somewhere. This time we haven't had as much time, so we're gonna kind of have to wing it a little bit. Hopefully we'll find some fun stuff.
That's usually when the fun happens. When you wing it.
Sometimes. Or sometimes it can end up being kind of stressful. We've had it go both ways. So I guess you'll find out how it goes today.
We left Florida behind and crossed into Alabama.
Brown, brown, brown. Isn't that crazy how brown it is? have to look up and see what causes that. So perhaps this is what you would call mud flats. Looks like the tide is really low. Looks like there's maybe a couple of restaurants out that way. And here is Mobile.
In 2 miles, take exit 26 feet from Water Street toward downtown.
We arrived in Mobile and stopped at Cooper Riverside Park, thinking it might be a good place for a picnic. Mobile was settled by the French in 1702. It's home to the 9th largest port in the U.S. It opens into Mobile Bay and is just 32 miles from the Gulf of Mexico.
It's pretty windy out. We didn't really feel like eating outside for lunch here with it being so windy, so I guess we're gonna move on to plan B. Just wanted to at least show you this park. It's a pretty day. So our first few moments in Mobile, we really have no idea what we're gonna do here. I made a few notes like years ago. I guess there's like a waterfront area, perhaps, not this, but something else. So I guess we're just gonna drive around and see what we can see. Too bad you can't see the water from where you parked. I don't know where we're gonna go now for lunch, but you wanna just drive around?
Sure.
Here we go, back on the road.
We headed for the historic downtown district of Mobile.
I think we're going to try to find a parking spot and just walk around a little bit. Looks like there could be some neat pictures to grab here.
Most of the area was paid parking, but we happened to find some free parking spots right along Bienville Square Park. We made some sandwiches quick for lunch and started exploring. As you can see, we also made some new friends.
We are in the historical downtown area of Mobile now. Just walking around for a little bit, checking it out before we get back on the road.
After getting back to the van, we drove through the Detoni Square Historic District and then got back on Route 10, headed towards New Orleans.
Nothing. Oh wait, there it is. No? Huh. That's weird. Well, I guess we're in Louisiana.
Not much fanfare.
I don't know if we saw a sign or not. Well, we didn't see one. We might have passed it, but we didn't see it.
With Audra armed with brochures and maps of Louisiana and New Orleans, we were ready to continue our adventure. But you're going to have to join us for our next episode to see if we made it successfully to the Big
I
Easy.
told the lady we were looking for like outdoorsy stuff and what we were doing, and she got all this stuff for me. So we should have plenty to do.
As always, thanks for watching. If you're new to the channel, be sure to check out our other travel videos. And please remember, subscribe, like, and comment below if you've enjoyed this adventure. See you next week.
And there's New Orleans.